Hey everyone. Since I started doing Plexus, I have always heard people say Plexus does network marketing differently. And I've always believed that, but I've been spending a little time doing some research on our compensation plan and how we truly are setting ourselves apart and how Plexus has set up our business model to, one, help us be successful, but also to overcome a lot of the issues that are kind of endemic to other MLMs, all the things that have sort of given things a bad reputation. So I've kind of spent some time digging into this. Those that know me know I'm a business person, I'm a numbers person, and so I find this stuff really interesting. And even for those of you that aren't, I think this is just a super important way to educate yourself, one, on what we have here in our hands with this amazing company, as well as just how to know what sets us apart. The economic marketplace has changed so much, and there's a reason MLMs are exploding right now. And it's because it is allowing people to get to a better place financially. And you've got people out there that are truthfully looking for an MLM company to join. Plexus's products are so amazing, and our corporate reputation is so great that there's a lot of organic interest in our products. And you may have people come around to you that are looking for an income opportunity. And you need to be able to tell them in an educated way why our comp plan is so different and, frankly, in my opinion, so much better than what they can get in a lot of other popular MLMs. So one thing that I've kind of learned is that there's several basic models that most companies model their compensation plans off of. And there's four main ones. There's binary comp plans. Kind of an offshoot sister of that is called a forced matrix comp plan. There's breakaway comp plans, and then Unilevel comp plans. And these are all four different. I'm going to explain them very briefly. I'm not going to get into too much detail. But these are all kind of your legacy comp plans that most MLM companies use. Obviously, every company's comp plan is a little bit different, but this is basically the structure of each of those. Plexus invented their own. It doesn't use any of these comp plans. I'm going to tell you why it's so different from these. So they completely made up their own model that is completely different from what these other companies are using. Okay, so first let's talk about a binary comp plan. What is that? What does that mean? Binary usually means two. Okay, so a binary comp plan, I drew these up. I didn't take the time to do this in PowerPoint or anything. Okay, so a binary comp plan, I don't know if that's showing backwards for you guys, but oh well. Then a binary comp plan, there's you at the top. You are only permitted 2 level 1s, okay? So your first 2 joins are here. Everyone you add after that is getting added to one of these 2 legs. Now, also your upline, as they add people, their people are getting added to your legs, okay? So 2 level 1s, and then you have this concept that they call spillover. And so this is how they'll recruit people a lot of times, is because they'll tell people, if you join me now, you'll be one of my 2 leg anchors, or whatever term they use. And anyone I add after that may get added to your leg. So there's, and then you likewise would have spillover from your upline into your legs. So that sounds attractive. But how effective do you think that is at developing other leaders? You've got a lot of people that are expecting you to add people to their organization that they have not done anything for. And you might be adding people that your downlines are getting benefit from that they have done nothing to either acquire or retain. The other negative of a binary comp plan is that you only get paid on your shortest leg. Okay, so this is in most of them, this is what this outside leg is what they call the power leg. And that's where your spillover from your upline is coming from. And then this is where you're adding people. And if this leg is shorter than this leg, you're getting paid off of this leg. So anything down here, you're not getting paid on. And so in this setup, you can see that there's a lot of issues that develop. If you're a big time recruiter, you're not getting all of the benefit of being able to recruit wide, like we talk about in Plexus. And you've got to constantly be balancing these legs, which can be really tricky. So that's a binary comp plan. I'm not one that likes to name drop on other companies, but for this specific illustration, I think it's helpful to kind of know which of our competitors are using certain types of comp plans. Because I know we all have friends that are parts of these companies. I think it's just useful, just educational purposes. This isn't meant to knock any of these companies. It's more just to illustrate which companies are using this comp plan. So the two that I was most familiar with that I found that use binary comp plans are Isagenix and Beachbody. So competitors with us in the sense that they're weight loss focused products. Obviously, we know that our products are a little bit different and focus on not just weight loss, but real health and balance. But those are two plans that use the binary comp plan and are sort of tangentially related to what Plexus does. So kind of, again, another element or another kind of offshoot of the binary comp plan is what's called a force matrix comp plan. Okay, and so this, and there's different ones. So it might be like a 5x7 it might be a 5x7 force matrix, which means you can go 5 wide and 7 deep. And so you can have 5 level 1s. Each of them can add 5 level 1s, and you can go on down 7 levels. Okay, so you can tell that there's a lot of restriction in that type of plan. It lets you go wider than a binary does, but you're still being restricted on both your width, and in this one you're being restricted on your depth as well. But from what I read, it doesn't sound like this has the same issues with needing to balance your legs. Honestly, I know that this is one of the main MLM comp plan structures, but I didn't find any examples that I was super familiar with that use that structure. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it. Okay. The other one that I found that is a really popular plan is called a Breakaway comp plan. This plan has been used for years by like Amway and Herbalife, so kind of your old legacy MLMs, and is currently used by Roden & Fields and Unique. So I know we all have friends that are involved with those companies. And so in a Breakaway comp plan, you have you, and then you have your legs, your levels, level 1s and on down. And basically, these are all based off of volume. But once you have a leg, so let's say you get a runner that has a certain, volume here. Once they hit a certain volume, they break away from your downline, okay? So they break this off into basically a separate downline, and they no longer count towards your volume for commissions. And so you still get a legacy commission off of them, so it's not like you lose the money completely on that, but the comp plan might have some restrictions that says, okay, in order to get your legacy commissions off of this breakaway downline, you need to have an existing volume of 3,000 in your organization. Let's say before this breakaway, you had 10,000 in volume, so you're getting pretty good commissions, and this leg was 8,000 of that. Then all of a sudden that breaks away, you're at 2,000. You're not going to get paid on this leg at all once that breakaway happens. So that would be like for us, if you were cruising along and you had a Ruby on your team, and as soon as they hit Ruby, their points went away from your comp plan, and you had to rebuild your points in order to keep rank advancing. So obviously that's not something that any one of us would like to see. And even if we still got paid a little bit off of that, it basically kind of breaks, in my opinion, the team culture that you've created around that leadership. So that is a Breakaway comp plan. Okay, then we have the last one, which is a Unilevel comp plan. Okay, this one is used in various iterations by Young Living, doTERRA, so some essential oils companies, as well as Take Shape for Life and Advocare, so some other health and wellness type oriented companies. So this basically, if Plexus's plan resembles one of these, it would be a Unilevel comp plan, and I'll explain why it's different in a second. But basically we have you are not restricted on the width of your organization, so you can add as many level 1s as you want. Usually there is a restriction with depth, so they'll pay down, say, 5, 6, 7 levels. So again, if there's a structure that resembles Plexus, this one would be it, because we can go as wide as we want. We get paid down 7 levels. But the difference is that this structure, and there's some nuances to it, but this structure is completely based off of volume. And there's, again, some kind of other ways that people get paid in this structure, but usually there's some kind of limitations on what people can do. Usually there's not necessarily, well, in some of them there is, but not necessarily such a matter of rank advancement. You usually get paid the same amount on everyone in your organization, hence the name Unilevel, because the commissions are fairly level. So anyways, those are the 4 basic comp plan structures. So how is Plexus different? Every one of these comp plans that I looked at is based on sales volume. All of the advancements, all of the commissions are based off of, they have different, we use PV, they use OV, OGV, there's SV, There's all these different acronyms they'll use, but they're all volume-based plans, okay? So they're focused on sales to customers, sales within your organization, so sales that your downlines are making, and that's how everything is based. In Plexus, our compensation is not directly tied to the overall volume of our organization. There's actually no part of our compensation plan that pays us based on organizational volume. That is a metric that we can look at in our back office, just kind of for tracking and leadership purposes, but we do not get paid off of that. So Plexus is not a volume-based comp plan. It is a people-based comp plan, which I personally love. And we're not, every ambassador, once they have hit 100 PV for the month, so once they've bought their triplex, we don't really make any more money off of them if they purchase a lot more product. Now we do have we have our retail override commissions where basically we get paid 5% off of our level ones PV over 100. So if you've got someone who's got a ton of retail customers, which is not necessarily something that we encourage on our team, but if they have a lot of those customers, then you will get paid a little bit on it, but it is the most nominal part of our comp plan. And again, that just applies to your level 1. So if you had a level 2 or 3 that had a high PV, that doesn't help you at all. And so what I love about this is we're people-based. We're looking to get people started on their products, and our compensation plan doesn't reward volume. It rewards retention and consistency. So it rewards people getting other people happy with these products, getting people excited about the products, getting them results. And then hopefully that turns into them wanting to tell other friends and family members about the great experience they've had on Plexus. But our comp plan does not allow us to rank advance off of volume. So we can't just have a big month and rank up to Ruby or Senior Ruby or Emerald. We have to retain those people. When someone signs up with a welcome pack, they don't turn into points until they order again. And so we, one, are incentivized to work with our people and make sure they're happy and stay on their products. And two, we don't have a huge incentive to upsell our people. Everyone I have that's on Triplex, I want them to try X Factor. I want them on Mega X. I want those things because they're amazing products that I think everyone should be on. But my team doesn't have a reason to distrust me. They don't have this sense that I'm just trying to up my volume for my own commissions or my own rank advancement. They can trust that I'm telling them these products are great because they're really great. And they already know that because the products they're on are already great. So really, our team, we can create a culture in which there's a lot of trust, and we can just pass along information without it being seen as an ulterior motive to just upsell and continue increasing the volume of our organization. So I really love that about our comp plan. Also, the structure of our comp plan, as you can see, because it's points-based, because it's retention-based, is that it tends to restrict freeloaders. So we talked about that concept of spillover in a binary or a force matrix comp plan because you're restricted on your width. And because we don't have those kind of concepts, we don't have freeloaders, we don't have this welfare society mentality in our teams where they're expecting their uplines to lift them up and generate points for them. And you also, because of the way that we're paid down 7 levels. You might say, well, that's kind of a restriction. I would love to get paid down on my levels 9 and 10. But to me, what that's doing is it creates an environment where we basically get paid for the levels that we're reasonably expected to lead. So as you're advancing, you are kind of reasonably expected to have influence over people in those first 7 levels. Once it gets down beyond that, really you're dipping into someone else's leadership, which of course we want to leverage off of in our teams, but really they're trying to create tight-knit organizations, relatively speaking, and allow you to be compensated for the leadership that you are responsible for. So I think that that's a great element of our comp plan. It keeps people from getting lucky, signing up a couple people and then all of a sudden 6 levels down, they get a ringer and that person goes Emerald in 6 months. That person above them is not going to go Emerald. And of course, we know about the importance of having points outside of our primary leg. So it's not like we get paid off of our weakest leg, but you cannot advance. And you'll still get paid off of that primary leg, even if it grows super, super strong and you don't have a strong organization. You'll still get paid on that, but you will not rank advance and be in Hawaii because you got lucky with 1 runner. So I think that that's a great element. It just has accountability. It means that the people that have advanced in this company have worked for it and earned it instead of kind of falling backwards into it. So I think that's great. Of course, we know the other benefits of our company. no inventory, no deliveries. You don't have to throw parties all the time trying to push your product. There's no high buy-ins. So there's some organizations where you can start at a level where like basically you could buy in. So let's say you could get a starter kit for $79 and that kind of gets you in at ambassador level. Oh, but you could pay $3,000 and buy your way in at senior gold would be like the equivalent. And so how do you think that that fosters a team environment when you go to convention and you see all these senior golds and you don't know if they earned their way there or if they bought their way there? In Plexus, all of us start out as an ambassador, and as we add people, we move up the ranks, but that is the only way. So those are just a couple things. I didn't want to make this video too long or too technical, but I hope that that kind of gives you an idea when you're talking, both for your own knowledge as well as when you're talking to people who are interested in an income opportunity and want to know, you say Plexus is different, you say they do things differently, how exactly are they different? There is a great video out there I encourage everyone to watch by Whitney Ward, W-A-R-R, just Google it, it's on YouTube. She was in another MLM company that went bankrupt. She was a very high earner in that company, and she did so much research on other guys. She had people coming out of the woodwork, of course, saying, hey, join my team, from different companies. And she did her research, basically wrote up her list of all of the elements she would want in a comp plan and in a business model. And Plexus met every single one. And she can tell you in that video how different our comp plan is than the company she was in previously, as well as the other companies she was approached by. So Whitney Ward, she's currently a Sapphire Ambassador, I believe, and she has great information in that video about the research she did as someone coming in from other MLM experience. I had no network marketing experience whatsoever prior to Plexus, nor did I want any. I didn't think I wanted it when I got into Plexus. But I think this is just great information to educate yourself on what we have and why it is so special and why it has created both the success and strength of our company as well as the unique culture that we've developed internally.